This summer in Utah, we have been spending a lot of our weekends exploring, and one of the ways we've been doing that is camping on BLM land in the van. Do you hear that?
It's so quiet.
One of the reasons we like being out on BLM land is it's super quiet, it's super dark. You've had some really great
Oh,
dark sky nights.
it's been amazing. We'd heard about BLM land for years, but being on the East Coast, we have national forest land, but we don't have BLM land, and it is very different. And now I understand why people rave about it.
And one of the reasons we bought the van to tow the Airstream with was we wanted it for the additional storage. You wanted it because you'd gotten spoiled about having some place to change clothes in private, and so we've gotten used to that. But also because we thought, well, what if we wanted to get away from the Airstream for the weekend? Could we build this out into our own little sort of van life camper? And we haven't done that yet. What we're essentially doing is car camping in a van, but we've made it work. And I think it's worked out really well for us.
We've loved camping out of the van this summer. It's opened up a lot of possibilities for us. And so we want to walk you through how we sort of set it up here. And you'll kind of see in the back of the videos a lot of other miscellaneous stuff that's in this van because it is our cargo van. I mean, we just store everything in here when we're not in the Airstream. So, our bikes, our tools, you name it, it's probably stored in here in various capacities. But we have worked around that to be able to car camp in this all summer. So let's go on a tour and show you how we have been living out of this.
Food, water, kitchen supplies, things you need when you're going to do cooking and being out for the weekend. And we've set this up so that it's accessible through the back of the van. It's just nice having the big open doors in the back and you can get to everything. We have a Dometic powered cooler. This is the one that can be either a refrigerator or a freezer. We tend to use it as a refrigerator more than anything else. And we have it set up with a Southwire 500 watt portable power pack that we had. And we've actually done a review on this, so I'll post a link to that video. It's worked out really, really well for us. But what we've done is we have the ability to run a power cord to the front of our van. So when we're driving down the road, we're plugged in and the battery is recharging the whole time and then sending power through to the refrigerator. When we park and shut the van off, this runs off of the battery and we can easily get a couple of days on this battery with no problem. If we were to go longer, we would use more battery or we would run the van a little more frequently to keep things charged up. So it's just a matter of how you use it and what works for you. This is what works for us. We also use Smart Bottle is a brand that makes these collapsible water bottles that I've really liked. We've actually had them for years and we just repurposed them for this as we're traveling now on the weekends. We have a 5-gallon one and 3 1-gallon ones. Again, it's whatever you have space for. It depends on how much water you're going to use, but this covers us for the weekend for water for cooking, water for drinking. When we're out hiking, we're filling our camelbacks with it. It turns out to be plenty of water for us. Sometimes to make car camping or van camping work, you figure out what you already have that you could repurpose. These 2 buckets that we have up here were part of a garage shelving storage unit. So I pulled the buckets off. We use one for dry food and we use one for kitchen supplies, utensils, that kind of a thing. And it just works really well for us because it fit in here. We've learned over time that a plastic dishwashing bucket, whatever you call these things, I never remember what the official term for these
I
are.
believe it would be dishpan.
A dishpan. There we go. I'm the one that does the dishes too, so you think I know what it's called. It's called a dishpan. But yeah, it's handy. When it's empty, you can use it to carry different things around the campsite that you're at, or you use it obviously to wash your dishes and rinse everything off at the end of a meal. So that's worked out really well. There's things like these Rubbermaid type storage containers. So we got one of these and that's where we keep the grill when we're traveling. And, there's a tablecloth in there if we need it. There's different things like our Thermacell bug repellent thing is in there. It's just whatever would fit in there. But what's nice about this is kind of what we call a camping box. And so stuff that we know we're going to need when we're out here. We don't necessarily use it when we're in the Airstream, but we store it ready to go. So when it's in the Airstream, I go through it, make sure everything's been updated and everything is refilled as needed, but then it's ready to go. When we're going away for the weekend, we just grab it and toss it in the back of the van.
We've tried to keep it pretty simple when we're out here boondocking. And so as far as cooking is concerned, we've got our trusty little camp stove and we've done pretty good with our mountain house meals and making eggs for breakfast and a couple other things. And we have Ari's jet boil so he can make his coffee, because we know he doesn't do anything in the morning without his coffee. But you know what? Sometimes we just like to keep it simple and we stick with bagels and cream cheese or peanut butter because we want to get out on the trail early and don't want to worry about cleanup. But this setup has worked really well for us. Our little table, our grill, our jet boil, a couple bags of meals, and some easy prep cleanup. Anything that we can do to minimize the cleanup. I never usually use paper plates, but we have decided that while we're out here, it's a little bit easier for cleanup and less time too. So just a couple of the tricks that we have decided to utilize while we are out here on BLM land.
Think about what's available for cars for travelers, and then see how you can use that if you're going to do some kind of car camping. So across the back here, I have a bar that was originally it's designed for putting in the back of a car if you want to hang clothes on it when you're traveling. And I made sure to get an extendable one, and then it reaches across the entire van, and we've got it hung up. So we use it for things like coats, like you normally would, but we also have our life jackets hanging on it because we carry a stand-up paddleboard with us as part of our menagerie of things that we have stuffed into this van. It works great for hanging the backpacks, either when they're empty and everything's just kind of stored together, or once we have water in them. It's nice to be able to hang both camelbacks separately, and you just hang them up there. They're out of the way. Nobody's going to lean on them, squish the water out of them, and they're not having to get moved around all the time. So it's things like that that you can do that just kind of help you repurpose what you've got. We also have stuffed in here. We have our generator, which we have used a couple of times when we've been out in the van. It's mostly we carry it around for if we ever need it when boondocking with the Airstream. We also have both of our bikes in here. We have all kinds of recovery gear that I've got in storage boxes because we are out on BLM land. You never know what you're going to need. And there's a lot of different kinds of tools. I've got a toolbox with me. So stuff that we would normally carry with us anyway when we are traveling and doing the RV life. I just leave it in the van when we're away for the weekends like this because it is stuff that we might end up needing. There's a lot of things stored in this van I hope I never have to pull out because it has to do with repairs and recovery gear. But you do want to make sure that if you're out on BLM land somewhere, you may be by yourself, you may be far away from other people or services, and it's very likely you won't have a cell signal. So you want to make sure that you're doing something that allows you to be self-sufficient in a lot of different ways.
With any kind of camping, you've got some of your basics that you have to think about. Your food, your toilet, and where are you going to sleep? Obviously, we're sleeping in the van, but how do we make it comfortable? So we repurposed again what we already had. So we had a mattress that we have used in other situations, so something we bought off Amazon. We've got a couple mattress pads, and so we stacked those together here in the van. And since we're relatively small people, we only took up about 3/4 of the width of our van. And so this becomes our sleeping thing at night. And it's actually pretty comfortable. We've done really well. We've got our pillows and the mattress, different blankets depending on the temperature. We've camped in everything from like 50 degrees to 110 degrees, pretty much. So we kind of have a mix and mash here of bedding supplies. And, you know, with the windows open and the fan going, you know, it's been pretty comfortable. When we're not camping and we're done for the weekend, we've gone back to the Airstream and, you know, we actually need to use this as a van, as a cargo space. Everything rolls up really compactly. It's nice because those mattress pads were designed for backpacking camping, and the mattress rolls up pretty small as well. And then they tuck away in the back of the van. And so then we have this whole open floor space when we're not car camping that we can actually use for hauling groceries and everything else.
One thing we did purchase is we bought screens for the van. These happen to be the Skeeter beaters, and I like them because they make them custom cut to your vehicle. So they are designed to fit around the windows specifically for this van, and they have a really, really fine mesh. So it helps with even like no-see-ums and that kind of thing. And they go on with magnets. So that's really handy. We just snap those on when we're going to be somewhere overnight. We can open up the windows. I bought 2 sets, so I have one for each of the front windows, and then I have them for the back vent windows as well. And so when you can open up the front and the back like that, and you get a little bit of an airflow, I mean, it was 90-some degrees when we landed here yesterday on this particular piece of BLM land, and, you know, it cooled off overnight, and it was really nice being able to have that airflow. But being able to do that and keep the bugs out of the van at the same time, that's a big win.
So now we've gone from bed mode to travel mode, and you're car camping. You're going to have to move stuff around. So stuff while we're traveling and we're going down the road ends up living on the bed, during the day. So, Starlink, our clothes bag, miscellaneous things. And then at night, we put them up in the front seats to get them off the bed and out of the way. And, it's small. It's a small space. You just have to get used to moving things around a little bit, which we did in the road trek. So that's just really nothing new to us. And then there's just sort of like miscellaneous things, like moving out of the way. So again, from a repurposing standpoint, we've got these heat shields, which go in our front windows and our side windows. And we use them for both sun protection and night protection for privacy. And the heat shields are custom designed for, your own individual automobile. And because our van here was essentially the same van in our road trek, these are the ones that we used in the road trek, and we've just been able to repurpose them. They fit the same windows. And Ari did a blog post and a review on these heat shields. So if you're interested in your own, check that out so you know exactly the specifications and how you can go about getting your own. And we'll probably be doing a review on our Starlink as well at some point, or maybe not really a review, but just how we're using it. But it's relatively new to us, but it's been a game changer. And then, we just had duffel bags that we use for our clothes. So, maybe eventually we'll find something different, but we're really always about repurposing what you already have so that you can get out there and live your life and explore new places as soon as you can. So yeah, we're pretty much all about reuse and repurpose here. And so far it's worked really well. I'm not going to lie, having the road trek and having a bathroom on board at all times made me a little spoiled. I never had to worry about when I had to go or where we were. We always had a toilet with us. And that was honestly one of my first things I was kind of paranoid about when we got the Airstream in this van is, where am I going to use the bathroom? I mean, believe me, I'm not about digging a hole in the woods. We did that for years when we went tent camping. But out here in BLM land and other places, you just don't have that luxury because the rock is hard and you just don't really know what your circumstances are. You don't want to get bit in the butt by a rattlesnake. So we again repurposed, and we grabbed our trusty little toilet that we did have back in our tent camping days when our kids were little, and we didn't know where we were going to be, and we've had this. So this is probably 20 some years old, and it fits great in here. It's essentially a little cassette toilet, and so we can use this overnight or wherever we are and not have to worry about it. And then we can just go in and dump it in our sewer and our bathroom toilet when we get back to the Airstream. We're done with the weekend, and it has worked great because when it's 2 a.m. and you don't really know where you are and you don't know if you're going to get eaten by coyotes or rattlesnakes, having a toilet on board is a blessing. We had really gotten spoiled, I think, by the road trek and always having our house with us and all our stuff with us. And so we knew that was going to change when we got the Airstream. And we were going to have to leave it because there's plenty of national parks and roads and BLM and places where we weren't really either going to be comfortable taking the Airstream because of the road conditions, or we just simply weren't going to fit because there's a lot of 24-foot or less restrictions. So the van and being able to camp and live out of the van for the weekends has been a game changer. It's really opened up a lot of possibilities. And, as you kind of saw from their video, the theme was sort of reuse and repurpose. We started with what we had, and you should start with what you have. Don't go out and spend a whole lot of money. Just get out there and live life. We've preached that before, and that we don't want you to spend your time worrying about, building up your supply when you probably have stuff in your shed or your garage that you can repurpose. So go out there, see what you've got. Do you have a cooler? Do you have a toilet? Do you have a mattress pad? Whatever you have, pull it out, shove it in your car, your van, your truck, whatever it is, and get out there and explore. I mean, that's what we did. And maybe someday we'll build this out to be a little bit more van life. But for now, this is working super great for us.
Those are really great points. Don't overthink it. Take what you've got and get out there, and then take notes. We've done that. We've changed some things. We've remembered to add things later because we forgot them and then said...
We have forgotten something every single trip. It's been something different every single trip. So today I forgot the cups and the bowls. Last time we forgot... I don't remember what we forgot last time, but I swear we have forgotten something different every time. And we even have a list, and yet we're still forgetful.
Well, and that's the thing where I think I mentioned in the one part where we have like the camping box with certain supplies that we know we're going to use are always in that box. That is one recommendation I would make is if you have a couple of different storage containers and you can set them up just for your car camping, that way you know that, when you're done, you take it all in the house, you wash everything up, you pack it back up, and it's ready to go.
Wash. That's what it was. We forgot all our washing supplies last time. We forgot the dish towel, the dish soap. So see, there's always something.
Yeah, there's always something. But figure out what you've got, put it all together as best you can, and then learn from every time you go out and your experiences and make the best of it. In the meantime, keep on trekking.
And we'll see you out there.
We've learned over time, bring a, what the hell are these things called?
I don't know, kitchen bucket.
Dish.
A dish.
It's a dish pan.
It's a dish pan, I guess.
All right.
I don't know.
All right.